The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That's toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Email xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our two websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com, where you can watch us and listen to us live Monday through Friday from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. In this hour, it's you and me. My question to you is, on this open mic hour on the X Zone, one of the many questions I'm going to throw out there and let you digest and call me back with your comments, is as follows. It was all the rave within the UFO community just a couple of weeks ago when members of the UFO community claimed that a private meeting had been held at the United Nations concerning the landing of extraterrestrials. Some say in the year 2013, other reports say the year 2017. Now this, many claimed, was to be the smoking gun that ufology had been waiting for. Okay? Now, however, not unlike the alleged crash at Roswell, the Phoenix Lights, the UFO over O'Hare Airport, and most recently, the Walmart-sized UFO over Stevensville, Texas, this story too fizzled out. This story was brought forward to the internet by Dr. Michael Scala of Exopolitics. Robert Morningstar got involved. These two UFO researchers from New York were allegedly involved. And then Gilles Laurent from France was supposed to be part of this big story. It's fizzled out. You could read about it on one or two, maybe, of the smaller UFO online magazines. Something's got to keep their people reading, I guess. But it's fizzled. It had more holes in the story than a piece of Swiss cheese in Billy Meyer's fridge in Switzerland. It made no sense. There was no authentication of the sources. There was no authentication made through the United Nations. In fact, the United Nations, in another report, flatly denied it ever happening. So why do people do this? Why do people come up with these stories and just put them on the internet where they don't have to be verified, they don't require any authentication, and then they get ticked off when mainstream media doesn't run with them? It's very simple. Mainstream media has been burned by many UFO investigators and UFO groups over the years that, I'm sorry, they're not taken seriously anymore. All these wild concoctions, these stories of crashed UFOs, these stories of dead aliens all over the place, underground bases, underground tunnels, backward engineering, faces on Mars, the moon being a hollow satellite filled with aliens, an 9-mile wide UFO hovering over New York City, the Mothman, and the list goes on and on and on. And that's not including cryptozoology, where we go to the chupacabra or the goat sucker, or Bigfoot. In this day and age where everyone has a digital camera, how come nobody has taken that all-conclusive proof photo? It's very simple. It doesn't exist. Well, let me rephrase that. No one has taken the picture to prove that it does exist. Maybe it does exist. Maybe it doesn't. Lines are open. I want to hear from you, Exo Nation, at 1-877-528-8255. Toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. I'll be back after this 2-minute commercial break talking more about why people come up with these UFO stories, ghost stories, Bigfoot stories, if they have no proof. And why is society so eager to believe them? I'll be back in 2 minutes as the X Zone continues, live and around the world from the Talkstar Radio Network, from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits, and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
Welcome back, Exo Nation. I've been doing this show now for 15 years, and I've talked to some of the most brilliant minds in the scientific community, and I've spoken to people who claim to have been part of paranormal experiences. Some people claim to have seen ghosts. Some people claim to have seen UFOs. Some people claim to have seen lake monsters. But no matter what the claim, there always is missing one important element: proof. Now, I'm not saying that everything in life needs proof. Santa Claus, for example, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, the Sandman. These were all little myths and legends that we all have grown up with. Harmless. You know, we talk about leprechauns on St. Patrick's Day, Cupid, Valentine's Day, the Easter Bunny at Easter, Santa Claus at Christmas, witches and goblins on Halloween. And these are all part of our life, our youth. But when it comes to UFOs, there's something strange here. You've got people who want to believe in something so badly that they will take, without verification, the word of one person, two people, three people, a group of people who may not have seen anything at all. Most of the UFO reports that are seen are conjectures, third-hand information. Someone knows someone who saw something. What this does, in my opinion, is keeps those who have had real experiences, I mean real experiences, in the closet. These people who have nothing better to do with their time and who make it a business publishing these articles on the internet, publishing these articles in different forms, misrepresenting the true believers because they have a definite plan. Their plan is to become an expert or a guru in a field that is so open to charlatans. It's not funny. So many people get conned, get taken in, put so much faith in the words of so few. Whatever happened to all the alleged proof at Roswell? Well, geez, gosh, the U.S. government has it in a base, in a hangar. It's been suppressed because there's a conspiracy. I believe the conspiracy is being committed by the people who claim the government is committing the conspiracy. After all, the people who are yelling conspiracy are usually selling books, DVDs, making public appearances and getting paid for it, being paid to be on television. So why would they want the truth to be known that the government isn't hiding any information? They don't have anything. Why don't they have anything? Well, there's two possibilities. Number one, there is nothing. Or number two, they don't know about it. It's that simple. Phoenix Lights. Well, you've got a movie that's out about the Phoenix Lights. It's now the 11th anniversary of the Phoenix Lights. And still people are saying, shh, it's a government conspiracy. This UFO was so wide. And then you've got this member of the Air National Guard, I believe it's the Maryland National Guard, who says, hello, there were no UFOs in that area. That was us, the National Guard. We had deployed flares. There was no UFO. And of course people are saying, oh yeah, sure, this is the way the government is covering up. They don't want us to know about the big UFO. Once again, two possibilities. It's either the man who was flying the jet who was in charge of the other members of the National Guard who deployed these flares are lying, or there is a conspiracy. Then let's look at the Chicago O'Hare UFO sighting. 12 people saw it. That's it, 12 people. It made national headlines. It made national news. Only 12 people saw this UFO over the nation's busiest airport, O'Hare Airport, near one of the largest cities in the United States, Chicago. At a time when everyone is concerned about a terrorist attack. With all the cameras that are at this airport, with all the people in the airport, with all the sophisticated radar equipment, not only civilian but military, how come only 12 people saw this alleged UFO hovering over Chicago O'Hare Airport? With all these people at the airport, how come no one took a photograph? Oh, wait a minute, there were only 12 people that saw this UFO. None of the aircraft landing, none of the aircraft taking off, none of the aircraft on a holding pattern, not one person, not one passenger in this big, massive airport that I have been in before took a picture or even saw this UFO except the 12 people who work for this one specific airline. Once again, this story fizzled out. And then we have the latest one to add to the sightings that fizzled. We have the sighting of an alleged UFO the size of a Walmart. Some people even put it to 1.5 miles in diameter. At the beginning of this year in Stephenville, Texas. Many believe that it has something to do with President Bush's ranch being so close to the sighting area. Others believe that the people who saw this UFO could not be wrong, that there was something in the sky. Now, the majority of the people who believe there was a UFO there did not see it. So why do they believe? Why do people need to believe in something so desperately that they will believe whatever someone says? What does this tell us about society? It gives us a message that something is desperately wrong. Is a society that has failed us, or did we, and have we failed society? We're more interested in UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, and all the other paranormal topics that so many people take such a deep interest in than we are in the state of affairs of this world. How many people die each day because they don't get water? How many people die each day because they don't have any food? How many people are homeless? How many people go hungry every night before they go to bed? How many children don't have any breakfast, lunch, or supper? And I'm talking here in North America. The same country that goes crazy for UFOs that cannot be proved. The same country that goes crazy for Sasquatch who cannot be proven. What is wrong with society? Something is missing in this entire equation. People, I'm not saying that UFOs do not exist. They very well may. I'm not saying that Bigfoot doesn't exist. He very well may. But with all the scientific equipment, with all the surveillance cameras, with all the digital cameras, both dashboard, in cell phones, and carried by tourists, throughout this great land of ours, how come there has not been one photograph that has been taken that cannot be proved to be a hoax? Why do you have to hoax society? If you want to do some legitimate research, then do it. Follow a specific methodology. Don't go at it half-cocked. Have you seen some of the photographs that are on the internet of these people who are on Bigfoot expeditions and are UFO watchers? They scare the hell out of me. A picture's worth 1,000 words. And these pictures do not exemplify professionalism. They really don't. It's like the old CB clubs of the 60s and 70s where everybody had a CB in their car. They'd all chat on their way to the local parking lot where they'd sit and talk. It's the same thing all over again. In the 60s and 70s it was CBs, and then the UFOs started. There are so many people out there who are die-hard believers who have never seen a UFO, but they believe because they've heard stories from other people. Oh, wow, you did? Jeez. How did you feel, eh? Wow, you saw that light in the sky? Ooh. It's got to be a UFO because airplanes don't have lights, right? Think. That's all I'm saying. Think. Before you believe, heart and soul, think. If the UFOs are out there, why don't they just land? Wait a minute, I know this story because there is a non-interference clause, right? The prime directive of ufology. If there are UFOs out there and there is a biblical connection, why don't they feed the hungry, cure the sick, show us how to clean up our world, make this a better place to live, Teach us how to be harmonious with one another. UFOs, Sasquatch, ghosts, things that go bump in the night. Are they real? I guess we're just going to have to keep on trying to understand and find out the truth and bring it to you, the X Zone Nation, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network. Don't go away. I'll be back after the news.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
And welcome back to the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, coming to you live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone TV, and on shortwave. Our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. Still to come on tonight's show, Ron Francel and Linda Drake. That's in hour number 3 and hour number 4. According to a recent study, or someone who's just really good with math, the average person will eat over 10,000 bars of chocolate, shed 121 pints of tears, and have sex more than 4,200 times in their lifetime. And here's more interesting statistics. We will own 8 cars, have eaten 15 pigs, spoken 123 million words, read 533 books, walked 15,000 miles, and 4,239 rolls of toilet paper. Yep, statistics you really need to know in life. Easter is this weekend, and thought we'd go into the Easter trivia to let you, the X Zone Nation, know a few things about Easter that you may not know. Decorating and coloring eggs for Easter was the custom in England during the Middle Ages. The household accounts of Edward I for the year 1290 recorded an expenditure of 18 pence for 450 eggs to be gold-leafed and colored for Easter gifts. The most famous decorated Easter eggs were those made by well-known goldsmith Peter Carl Fabergé. In 1883, the Russian Tsar Alexander commissioned Fabergé to make a special Easter gift for his wife, the Empress Marie. The first Fabergé egg was an egg within an egg. It had an outside shell of platinum and enameled white, which opened to reveal a smaller gold egg. The smaller gold egg, in turn, opened to display a golden chicken and jeweled replica of the imperial crown. Now, this special Fabergé egg so delighted the Tsarina that the Tsar promptly ordered the first Fabergé firm to design further eggs to be delivered every Easter. In later years, Nicholas II, Alexander's son, continued the custom. 57 eggs were made in all. In 1878, President Hayes and his wife Lucy officially opened the White House grounds to the children of the area for an egg rolling on Easter Monday. The event has been held on the South Lawn ever since, except during World War I and World War II. During the war years, Easter egg roll was held at the National Zoo and other Washington locations. The white lily, the symbol of the resurrection, is the special Easter flower. And the name Easter comes from Eostre, E-O-S-T-R-E, an ancient Anglo-Saxon goddess originally of the dawn. In pagan times, an annual spring festival was held in her honor. The word Paschal comes from a Latin word meaning belongs to Passover or to Easter. Formerly, Easter and the Passover were closely associated. The resurrection of Jesus took place during Passover. Christians of the Eastern Church initially celebrated both holidays together, but Passover can fall on any day of the week, and Christians of the Western Church preferred to celebrate Easter on Sunday, the day of the resurrection. In the Northern Hemisphere, Easter occurs in the spring and coincides with the pagan rebirth and fertility festivals. Eggs have been a symbol of new life and resurrection since ancient times. Rabbits and hares have long been associated with fertility of spring because they themselves are so fertile. When early Christians moved into pagan areas, they realized it would be impossible to wipe out the old, ingrained beliefs, but instead they absorbed and adopted them, and Easter became a mixture of both pagan and Christian customs. Easter is usually celebrated on the first Sunday after the first full moon on or after March the 21st. Therefore, it can occur on any Sunday from March 22nd through April 25th. Eastern Orthodox churches take other factors into consideration, so they may celebrate Easter later. Ham came to be the traditional favorite for Easter dinner because it's pre-refrigeration days. Hogs were slaughtered in the fall and cured for 6 to 7 months, just in time for the Easter dinner. In the Greek Orthodox culture, Easter eggs are traditionally painted red. The largest Easter egg ever made was constructed in Vergeville, Alberta. It weighed 5,000 pounds and was 25.7 feet long. The Easter lily, or Bermuda lily, was first brought to the United States in 1919 by a World War I soldier named Lewis Houghton, who bought the bulbs to Oregon and gave them to friends and family. Creating Easter baskets arose from the Catholic custom of bringing Easter dinner food to Mass to be blessed. This custom may also be related to ancient customs of bringing first crops to the temple. Eggs have been a symbol of rebirth in many cultures. The exchange of eggs is a custom that long precedes and predates Easter. Today, 10 growers, mostly located in the California-Oregon border in an area known as Easter Lily Capital of the World, produce 95% of all bulbs grown in the world for potted Easter Lily market. They produce over 11 million bulbs annually for shipping to commercial greenhouses. And despite a sales window of only 2 weeks, Easter lilies are the fourth largest crop in wholesale value in the U.S. potted plant market, and this is according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Poinsettias, mums, azaleas rank first, second, and third. States producing the highest number of potted Easter lilies are Michigan, California, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. In China, there is a celebration called Qingming, which takes place at the same time as the Western tradition of Easter. Chinese families visit the grave of their ancestors and take along meals and sweets. And Americans spend $2 billion on Easter goodies and eat 7.1 billion pounds of Easter goodies each year, with 60 million chocolate bunnies being sold each Easter. Now, for all you people who want to know where the egg comes from, well, laying eggs takes 24 to 26 hours according to the research from the University of Illinois. Even the best brood hens cannot lay more than 1 egg a day. And different churches have developed their own ways of decorating Easter eggs. Crimson eggs to honor the blood of Christ are exchanged in Greece. In parts of Germany and Austria, green eggs are used on Holy Thursday. Now, chocolate. Chocolate. Did you know the following chocolate facts? Per capita, Americans eat an average of 12.2 pounds of chocolate each and every year. Chocolate manufacturers currently use 40% of the world's almonds and 20% of the world's peanuts. CMA, or the Chocolate Manufacturers Association, uses about 3.5 million pounds of whole milk every day to make chocolates. That's 3.5 million pounds of whole milk every day to make chocolates. The melting point of cocoa butter is just below the human body temperature, which is why it literally melts in your mouth. And Switzerland has the highest per capita consumption of chocolate in the world at 22.4 pounds. Now that a 1 ounce piece of milk chocolate contains about the same amount of caffeine as a cup of decaffeinated coffee. So instead of taking that coffee to work with you, you can just pop a piece of chocolate, get you the same buzz. And let me see. Now, did you know that not all saturated fats raise blood cholesterol levels? The form of fat found in chocolate, cocoa butter, does not raise blood cholesterol levels, even though it is saturated. That's because cocoa butter is derived from plants, coca leaves, whereas the types of saturated fats are derived from animals. And let me see, most people are not allergic to chocolate. A recent study showed that only 1 out of 500 people who thought they were allergic to chocolate actually tested positive. And did you know the retail chocolate industry in the U.S. is worth $13 billion a year? I wonder what it's worth to dentists around the world. And the first chocolate box was introduced by Richard Cadbury in 1868 when he decorated a box of candy with a painting of his young daughter holding a kitten in her arms. And finally, did you know the chocolate manufacturers use 40% of the world's almonds, 20% of the world's peanuts, and 8% of the world's sugars? 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone on the Talk Star Radio Network. Still to come on tonight's show, we have Ron Francel and Linda Drake. Someone sent me this today, and I was very happy to send it out to all the members of the X-Zone mailing list. And if you would like to receive this, just let me know. I'll be glad to send it to you. It's all about the... just let me read it. Bet you the drug companies won't like this one getting around. Facts on honey and cinnamon. All right, it's found that a mixture of honey and cinnamon cures most diseases. Honey is produced in most countries of the world. Scientists of today also accept honey as Ramban, which is very effective medicine for all kinds of diseases. Honey can be used without any side effect for any of the diseases, any kinds of disease. So let's just take a look at a few of these. Heart disease. Make a paste of honey and cinnamon powder, apply on bread instead of jelly and jam, and eat it regularly for breakfast. It reduces the cholesterol in the arteries and saves the patient from heart attack. Also, those who have already had an attack, if they do this process daily, they are kept miles away from the next attack. Regular use of the above process relieves the loss of breath and strengthens the heartbeat. In America and Canada, various nursing homes have treated patients successfully and have found that as you age, the arteries and veins lose their flexibilities and get clogged. Honey and cinnamon revitalizes the arteries and veins. For arthritis sufferers, arthritis patients may take the daily, morning, and night 1 cup of hot water with 2 spoons of honey and 1 small teaspoon of cinnamon powder. If taken regularly, even chronic arthritis can be cured. In recent research conducted at the Copenhagen University, it was found that when doctors treated their patients with a mixture of 1 tablespoon honey and half teaspoon cinnamon powder before breakfast, they found that within a week, out of the 200 people so treated, practically 73 patients were totally relieved of pain, and within a month, mostly all the patients who could not walk or move around because of arthritis were walking without pain. For bladder infections, take 2 tablespoons of cinnamon powder and 1 teaspoon of honey in a glass of lukewarm water and drink it. It destroys the germs in the bladder. For a toothache, make a paste of 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder and 5 teaspoons of honey and apply to the aching teeth. This may be applied 3 times a day until the tooth stops aching. Let me see, what else do we have here? That's fast. All right, colds. Those suffering from common or severe colds should take 1 tablespoon lukewarm honey with 1/4 spoon cinnamon powder for daily for 3 days. This process will cure most chronic cough, cold, and clear the sinuses. For an upset stomach, honey taken with the cinnamon powder cures stomach ache and also clears stomach ulcers from the root. And finally, influenza. A scientist in Spain has proved that honey contains a natural ingredient which kills the influenza germs and saves the patient from the flu. And I'm told I've got time for one more. Let's go to pimples. 3 tablespoons of honey and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder paste. Apply this paste on the pimples before sleeping and wash it the next morning with warm water. If done daily for 2 weeks, it removes pimples from the root. And if you'd like a copy of this, just send me an email, xzone@talkstarradio.com, and we'll send you one forthwith. When we come back, more worldly information from yours truly, Rob McConnell, here in the X Zone as we continue live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free, and I will be back after this commercial break as we continue right here on Talkstar.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
And welcome back. Still to come on tonight's show, I'll be speaking to Ron Francel in the next hour, and then our final hour I'll be speaking with Linda Drake for the part 2 of the 2-part interview that we have planned with her for this week. Some weird headlines in the news. Man's dead wife speaks again. In Irvington, New York, 80-year-old Charles Whitning can hear his wife's voice again anytime he wants. The folks at Verizon have recovered a lost message recording by his wife, Catherine, before she died in 2005. Unfortunately, when they upgraded Charles' telephone service, his wife's voice disappeared from his voicemail system. The message simply said, Catherine Whitting, and Charles said he had listened to it every day for comfort. A contractor found the recording in an archive and restored it to the new voicemail system. Charles says he's very, very happy. And this is another title for a news headline. Don't forget your death threat. In Milwaukee, 46-year-old John J. Miller was arrested after he faxed handwritten and signed letters from Kinko's, letters threatening to kill a federal judge and blow up a courthouse on the city's east side. John had filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy back in 2004, but apparently has a long-running dispute with Judge Susan Kelly, who dismissed the case after he failed to make payments. He later sued officials in U.S. District Court and lost. He then appealed to the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals and lost again. His big mistake was leaving the evidence behind. Employees at Kinko's found the threatening letter that included Miller's name and phone number. He had faxed the letter to 4 area codes and left a copy on the machine. An employee called Milwaukee police, who contacted the FBI. And here's another one. This is a headline from the St. Petersburg Time. It says, "Hey, Tampa, you owe me $22 million. Way back during the early months of the Civil Wars, the city of Tampa needed money for ammunition and other supplies, so they borrowed $299.58 from storekeeper Thomas Kennedy and issued a promissory note on June 21st, 1861, promising to pay back the money. Well, they never did, and now Mr. Kennedy's great-granddaughter, Joan Kennedy Biddle, and her family says the city owes them. So they're suing to collect the original debt plus 8% interest for 147 years, which comes to a whopping $22.7 million. Biddle, who's 77, said, "This thing has been in the family since the date on the note, and it has never been repaid." Tampa City Attorney David Smith says he doesn't consider the claim valid, but Biddle's attorneys argue that the statute of limitations doesn't apply in the case because at the time the note was issued, the state had no such statute on the documents. Wow. I've got $299 that says they never see a dime. What do you think? You think they'll get anything? I don't either. That's it for this hour. In the next hour, Ron Francel will be joining me. We're going to be talking about crime's lasting legacy of evil. It's going to be a very interesting and scary but real hour. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free, and I'll be back after the news at the top of the hour at 6.5 minutes past as the X-Zone continues live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network.